And to blow, your minds a little bit, like this is where I love the strategy of using options or even lease options. I mean, I've done deals that you guys know about where you find that person and they may be behind 5, 10, 15, $20,000. They don't necessarily want to sell. Maybe you can go in and give them the money they need for an option to purchase their house someday in the future at a predetermined price. And it's a great way to invest with retirement account money and things of that nature. So the way I've explained in the past is, you'll have a hailstorm go through a city and there's a whole bunch of blue tarps on the roof and people don't even have the money they need to pay their deductible for their insurance.
Right.
All
Right.
right, well, okay, we'll put up 5, 10 grand for your deductible and I'll give you fair market value based on today's value sometime in the next 10 years.
I would like to take a 10-minute break and then 3, 2, 1.
How do you have the ability to analyze stock? Welcome to the Generations of Wealth podcast. I am your host, Derek Dombeck, and today a buddy of mine is coming on as our guest, Mr. Shaun Farr. You'll hear it when we get the show rolling, but talking about incredible source for you guys to get your data, your leads. And but before that, I think this is another important time to talk about what's happening moving forward for you and your business and for us, right? And it's all about quality data, quality relationships, and building your network. That's why I have Shaun on this show, because we met in person, we got to know each other, started using his product, and it's all about building that network. So allow us at the Generations of Wealth to help you with that. I say it, I think, pretty much on every show, but we're out there, we're in the trenches, we're doing deals, we're raising money, we're coaching people, but it's all about helping and building your network for you as well. So reach out to me, derekdombeck.com or thegenerationsofwealth.com, and let us help you. So with that said, let's bring on our guest. Well, and as promised, the myth, the legend, Mr. Shaun Farr, all the way from Salt Lake City. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, Derek. Thanks for having me today.
And thanks for being on the show. Little background, Shaun and I met last fall at an event. Some of you know I coach for Smart Real Estate Coach organization, and Shaun is through Landvoice, which he's going to talk about, is also working with those guys over there, and so we got to hang out a few days in Rhode Island not too long ago,
Yeah.
and I started using Landvoice. So before we get any of that stuff, Shaun, tell the world a little bit about yourself and who you are and where you come from.
Yeah, I'm not going to bore people with too many details, but I'll be brief. I promise that. But my quick story is this. I grew up in a small little town in northeastern Arizona and, just blue collar kid. My dad just trying to make it, throughout life. And then ended up moving up to state of Utah to Salt Lake City in 2001. And in 2001, I got involved. I don't know how, man. I was in the banking industry, just an entry level guy trying to make it and get through college. And I got involved with this real estate investing group, and they got really passionate about helping people invest in tax delinquent properties and mortgage foreclosures. And for some reason, I just got really passionate about helping other people make money in real estate by buying these tax auction properties. So Derek, I was doing that for 10 years. Started out as this apprentice that was just helping. And pretty quick, like a year later, I'm actually coaching investors as we're buying properties. I'm showing them what we're doing and how to do it. And so we did that for about 10 years. It was a great run. And what I love about being a coach, because I know you do a lot of coaching, Derek, is I just love the passion of helping people make money and become really successful in real estate, right? And what I always said as a coach is, hey, listen, I'm going to teach you how to fish, and I'm not going to hand you the fish, right? And what I'll tell you is after 10 years, I got really tired of teaching people how to fish and them not going and fishing every weekend, right? Like going and finding properties and making money. And so I pivoted in 2010. A neighbor friend and I partnered. He ended up buying it himself, but he acquired this company called Landvoice. And I was really excited about it because what I saw at Landvoice was all this data we could hand to real estate agents or to real estate investors. And this is the data that was like handing the fish. And I was like, geez, I've been teaching people how to fish for like 10 years. Now I just want to hand them the fish with all the data. And so we're going to talk today a lot about Landvoice. Again, I got started in Landvoice in 2010. So it's been almost, yeah, actually, it's been 16 years, right? Um, but it's all about getting the right data in your hands as a real estate investor to talk to the right homeowner who's motivated to get the right deal. And that's what we're really passionate about at Landvoice is, man, we're into data acquisition and data pending because we want to talk to the right homeowners. And if we do, those are the opportunities that are out there for us. And so, Derek, I thought there was huge synergies last time you and I talked out in Rhode Island. I'm like, man, you're out there coaching, putting the podcast together, and we're out here just busting our butts finding the right homeowners for you. And if we can blend those two worlds, there's no way you can't be successful in real estate, right? Like I always say, a real estate deal takes, and there's probably more than four things, but you got to find the deal, you got to negotiate the deal. Sometimes you got to finance the deal. Now you kind of do both of those things, right? You negotiate the deal and finance sometimes all together. And then you got to get that deal sold. And if we can do those four things at Landvoice, we want to help you do the first thing, which is let's help you find good deals. And then, geez, Derek's going to help you do the other three. He's going to help you negotiate finance or negotiate in the finance. And then also absolutely sell or have an exit or do the three paydays. There's so many fun things in real estate. But yeah, Derek, that's what we're up to, man. I've been at Landvoice for, like I said, 16 years. And for us, it's all about finding the right data, delivering that to our customers every day. We work with customers all over the US and Canada. And that's the story.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, like, people approach me all the time. What are you doing in marketing? What are you doing for marketing? How are you finding your deals? And it's a moving target, right? You got to be able
Yeah.
to adapt and change with the times, and you got to get the right data. So I've bought lists. We've done Google AdWord campaigns, of course, social media, like everything over the years. And some things work all the time. Some things work some of the time. But what never really changes is if you've got solid lead data, they're the
Yeah.
most motivated, right?
No
And
question.
so I don't want to step on your passion here because this is what you're all about. But just from me doing this since 2003, I mean, hell, I bought my first properties out of a newspaper clipping, and
Yep.
now we're talking AI and we're talking, data from everywhere. But is it good data? So why don't we just start with that? I mean, talk about your data and how much we feel like. I mean, I started using it now, and we feel like it's just a hell of a lot better than what else is out there, right?
Love that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot of companies out there all going to say, hey, we have the best data. We like to kind of show social proof with all of our Google reviews compared to everybody else out there. Got a lot more Google reviews at the highest score possible. So today we just want to get really tactical. I want to show you why it's quality data and how it can help you grow your business. And so we want to talk about your business and how this data can do just that. And today I want to talk about what we call a Landvoice Pro Bundle. And there's four products in that Landvoice Pro Bundle. So we're going to talk about four products. And then I'm going to talk about, for those of you that aren't entry level investors that really want to take it up a notch, I want to talk to you about a secondary service that's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it if you're a high end investor and you want to kind of take your business to the next level. So we're going to go Pro Bundle, four products. Then we're going to talk about a higher end product. And then we're going to talk about one other product that some of you may or may not use, but it's all about when you can't find that owner of a property, how do you append and get all that contact information? And at Landvoice, what we really specialize in is finding the homeowner contact information. We're talking about name, address, email, phone, and scrub it all against the do not call registry so you stay compliant with TCPA regulations. That's very important to us. And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a pro bundle with four products and then two other products, and we'll be in and out. So if you don't mind, let's dive right into that, Derek. Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah. The only comment I want to make is I think as listeners, if you guys don't know what your cost per acquisition is, you really got to dial in on that, right? Because you can go out and spend $100 a month, $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, but you really need to know what is it actually costing me to acquire a deal. And then when you start looking at how important it is to get accurate information, and lower that cost per acquisition, right?
No question. Yeah, and we want to keep the cost really low for every investor out there, especially when you're getting started. Let's get a couple deals under you, and then you can kind of keep growing and adding to it. So, no, it's well said. All right, so listen, there's a lot of technologies out there. We call them prop tech, right? We're finding data. There's a lot of prop tech companies out there that allow you to go to a map, find out all the homes that show me have this much equity or have this interest rate, or people that are 55 and older. I can name five right now that can go out and do that for you. At Landvoice, we're not that. What we are is very niche. We get very specific with the types of homeowners that you're going to have conversations with. So I mentioned four products in our Landvoice Pro bundle. Now let's get really tactical and in your business. When when Derek talks to you about financing deals or doing owner financing, these are some of the real nice lists of homeowners that are going to want to try and do some of these deals. Now, not all of them will, but we want to have, right? We want to make a lot of contacts and have a lot of conversations, and there's going to be a wealth of opportunity for you as an investor. So the first product that we'd like to talk a lot about is FSBO, stands for For Sale by Owner. Now, for sell by owners are out there. They're all over the country. And the highest peak when we see a lot of for sale by owners is spring and summer. So March, April, May. Right now, if you're hearing this, it's FSBO season, right? And throughout even Labor Day. Now there's FSBOs throughout the year, but we see the peak, the highest number of FSBOs in the spring and summer. After Labor Day, they cool off a little bit. Kids start going to school, and there's less FSBOs, right? So we like for sale by owners for a few reasons. NAR, the National Association of Realtors, comes out with $1 million study every year. And it just came out again, Derek, and we talked about this in Rhode Island. But what we thought was interesting is it showed the average price of a home that sells in the MLS and the average for sell by owner price. And there was a $65,000 difference in those two prices if you take all the national averages. And what that means is there could be as much as $65,000 in equity that a for sale by owner leaves on the table just by trying to sell it themselves, which seems kind of crazy because most for sale by owners, they want to DIY it, they want to do it themselves, right? And they also want to try and save the 6% commission when they're trying to sell it through an agent. The crazy part about that is this is from the NAR, this isn't from me. National Association of Realtors says on average, that a for sale by owner will sell 15% less than a home that's sold on the MLS. Well, if you take the national averages, that's about $65,000 that they're leaving on the table. Now, you know, as investors, we can talk through that with them, but it's certainly an opportunity as an investor to find one, a motivated seller, someone that typically needs to move within the next 15 to 45 days, Derek, sometimes 60 days, right? So we're finding motivated sellers, we're finding people that need to move soon, and that they have to take action. And these are the opportunities. So we aggregate this data from over 1,500 sources across the country, every classified ad you can ever imagine. We find all those for sale by owners. We send it through our data and our quality assurance team to make sure it's a true for sale by owner. And then we deliver that to you every day. So you log in to landvoice.com and you've got new for sale by owners to make contact with and to reach out to these homeowners. They're actually really happy to talk to you because you're a buyer and they love talking to buyers. They love talking to investors. And so it's a great, just important call for you to make as an investor, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is one of the, one of the keys that I go after is the FSBOs for those exact reasons. Because I want to get to the seller's true needs, and it's challenging to do that through an agent because oftentimes the agent doesn't know what the seller's true needs are.
Correct. And you could go door knock a whole neighborhood, but why? When you can find out in our system, immediately cherry pick all the homeowners that need to sell now. And that's what we love about it for sale by owners. Now, not only are you going to get new FSBOs every day, but you're going to get a 12-month database of all the FSBOs in your area for the last 12 months. So you're going to have plenty of contacts, plenty of conversations to have with all these homeowners. And to be honest, if you're looking for motivation, Derek, I love going back in our system and saying, hey, show me everything 90 days to 180 days. Like, let me see those 3 to 6 months when they started, because now there is a little bit more motivation. They do need to make some more aggressive moves to get deals done. And so don't miss that in the Landvoice system. If you're to subscribe to our service, we love the FSBOs, we love the new stuff, but I actually love the stuff that's been sitting on the market for a minute, right? And we'll update those statuses for you as well. So you see all of that. So you can try and go do that yourself, or you just log in every morning and start making those contacts and having really fun conversations with these homeowners. We love our for sale by owners for those reasons. The next one that I know you're pretty big on, Derek, is what we call our expired data. Now, expired data, these are data points that come from MLS, and essentially what's happened is the homeowner has listed their home with an agent. With an agent signs a contract with a homeowner, they typically sign a contract for 6 months. And when that contract expires in 6 months, it's now fair game. It's an open opportunity for us as investors to step in where the agent is no longer well, they're no longer under contract with that homeowner, essentially, right? And so we take the expired data, we look at that data, we append with contact information, and this is another motivated seller. Literally, a professional just tried to sell their home, probably at too high of a price. And now these homeowners are having a little bit of what I would call a come to Jesus moment, Derek, right? Like it's like, we might need to make a different move, think a little bit differently, do something different to get this home sold. Great opportunity for you to have a conversation with these homeowners, to step in and to think creatively with them on some other ways to get a deal done. And so expire data is phenomenal. Sometimes there's withdrawns and canceleds in your area as well. You got to be careful. Sometimes with the withdrawn, it's still actually under contract with that agent. So that's why we like our expireds the best. But expired data is another way for you to pinpoint homeowners that still need to sell their property, that are in the market, that have their hand up saying, hey, yeah, I need to sell. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to step in and have those intelligent, those mature conversations with homeowners, right? Talk about that for a minute, Derek. I know you work with expireds once in a while, don't you?
Yeah, I think that the key there is, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to call, I don't want to cold call somebody, but I don't look at that as a cold call. They've been advertising their property via an agent for 6 months. They're frustrated. They're looking for somebody to come and help them. They're typically not upset that you call them up because, like you said, you're scrubbing them against the do not call list anyways. But you call them up and be like, hey, I saw your house was listed for sale. By any chance, are you still trying to sell it? And that starts the conversation. So it's not like some big scary list to call.
Took a drink on you and forgot where my mute button was. I apologize. So yeah, and sometimes it's not just about the call. Like the great thing in Landvoice is you're going to log in, you're going to have an email address to send them an email with your information. And something really cool that we announced in Rhode Island that was pretty awesome. We just integrated with a new tool that we acquired called Inked. And you can literally send in about 3 clicks in our system. So you log into landvoice.com and you can send a handwritten card. Now, I hate to call it handwritten because we actually have these robots that you put a pen in their hand and it does all the writing for you. You pick your handwriting and everything else. But what we love about handwritten or robot written cards is that people open them and they read them and they appreciate them and you get calls back from them. And so we've made it so simple that literally you can click 3 different buttons and send the card out immediately to someone. So if you've had a good conversation or you want to start the conversation first with a handwritten card, we've now provided a simple, easy way for you to do that. And we're really excited about that as well because it is a phone call, honor the do not call registry, or an email, or a phone call. And even once in a while, we're connecting social media. So you can send them a direct message on LinkedIn or through X and Twitter. Some other ways to just connect with these homeowners when the time is right. So for sell by owners, we love for sell by owners hand raisers, expireds, hand raisers. These are people that need to sell now. The third product that we call in our Landvoice Pro bundle is pre-foreclosure data. Now, each of you are in a state. You're typically either in a judicial state or a non-judicial state, which means they're going to file the bank when a homeowner misses a payment. Typically, they miss a second, third, fourth payment, and now the bank has to file to begin the foreclosure process. We call that a notice of default, depending on the state that you're in, judicial or non-judicial, or a lis pendens. And so in your state, whatever it is, we find all the lis pendens, all the notice of defaults, and we deliver that to you every morning before 8 a.m. You're going to get brand new data. Now, about 2 to 6 weeks before the auction, the bank has to make a public notice to everyone out there saying, hey, we're foreclosing on this home. They're really making that public notice to the homeowner. And that's called a notice of trustee sale or notice of sale. We collect all that information as well, deliver that to you. So you tell us the 2 counties or 3 counties, whatever you need that you want to see this data in. And we send you that information with the contact information as well. And so what the beautiful thing is, when I said earlier, Derek's going to teach you how to fish. I'm handing you the fish, right? Like, here are the for sale by owners, here are the expireds, here are the pre-foreclosure homes that you need to have contact information, or you need to have more contacts and more conversations with. We love pre-foreclosures, specifically as investors. This is an opportunity to help homeowners save their credit, get them out of the foreclosure process, save their equity, right? And find a way to make it a win-win for both you and the homeowner. Love working with pre-foreclosures for that purpose. We also send the REOs, real estate owned or bank owned properties. Now, at that point, the auction's happened, the bank is foreclosed, but I like looking at those because I can reach out to the bank and now buy it from the bank. I can also see which banks have a bigger presence in my area as far as foreclosures are concerned, and start developing relationships with many of those banks, or those executives of those banks, or those leaders that are selling those properties. You want to have that as an investor, have those relationships, take them to lunch, and make sure you're in a good place with them as well. So you're going to get all that data in pre-foreclosure: notice of default is pending, notice of trustee sale or notice of sale, and then the REOs or the bank owns as well. One of my favorite data sets as an investor is looking at the pre-foreclosures in my area.
And as we're recording this right now, foreclosures are on the rise nationwide, and we're going to see an uptick for quite a while, because a lot of them that I work with, they were supposed to be foreclosed on quite a while ago, and COVID backed everything up. And a lot of these banks are now they're catching up, and they're on the rise.
Derek, as we record this March of 2026, yes. So this last 30 days, we've seen a 20% rise in foreclosures from the previous month. And I'm going to talk to you about another product in just a few minutes, and I'll tell you why we're seeing some of these rises as well. So, yeah, very well said. The last product that we call in our Landvoice Pro bundles, so expireds and FSBOs, pre-foreclosures, the last product is what we call a neighborhood search product. And what this allows you to do is zoom into a map, see a specific neighborhood, draw a little polygon on that map, and we can get you all the owners in that area. Or let's just say you're driving by a vacant piece of land, or a multifamily, or a condo, or maybe it's just a property that looks really, really bad or even vacant. You can drive right to that map, pull it up on your phone, circle that property, and we'll get you the contact information so you can have a really cool conversation with an owner that might be in a really bad place, right? So we go to the tax record, we find out where they live. Are they in that property or somewhere else? Get you the contact information. I love our neighborhood search tool because as an investor, as I'm driving neighborhoods and see land or see multifamily or apartments or whatever it is, dilapidated home, ugly home, these are also opportunities for us to have really good conversations and help people, again, create a win-win, right? Both for us and for that homeowner. So neighborhood search is typically about $40 a month. Our pre-foreclosure is about $40 a month. Expireds are typically $60 a month, and our FSBOs are $40 a month. If you do the math, you're somewhere between $160 to $200 a month for all of those products, Derek. I think on our website, we're about $177 a month. But Derek and I have kind of worked out a really cool promotion for all the investors that join this podcast. We're going to do all four of those products for $100 a month. You can click the link that he'll give you later on in the show, and that's going to give you phenomenal pricing to get all four products at a huge discount. And not only are you going to get new data every day, but remember, with those FSBOs and those pre-foreclosures, you're going to get a 12-month database on day one, where you can get access to a lot more homes, a lot more properties to talk to those homeowners.
Well, and let's throw it out there a couple times, Shaun, but it's thegenerationsofwealth.com/Landvoice. And to get that promo, and again, I don't just bring anybody on this show. You guys know that. You guys know I'm pretty blunt. And because I have a personal relationship with Shaun and I'm using Landvoice now, that's why I really wanted to bring him on the show. But I do have a question, Shaun. So with the neighborhood search, can they also then go into the system and get the handwritten letter?
Yeah, that's a great question. So on all of our products, no matter what you're subscribed to, there's literally a little button by each one of the properties. And you just click that button and it's going to take you right to the card. We got templates already created, or you create your own and save it. But once that's created, you click that, make sure your signature's there, make sure and verify the address, and then boom, we send it off. So we do all of it. Now, typically, if you're just going to send one or two cards, it's going to cost you $3 per card. If you want to pay for a subscription or know that you're going to send out quite a few every month, if you pay a subscription model, which is $50 a month, that's going to allow you to send 25 cards, guys. That's $2 per card. It's basically my cost. If you look at all the competitors out there, they're $3 to $4 a card. We're going to save you a lot of money on cards. and be able to send those out. But yeah, it's attached to every property, and it's literally 3 to 4 clicks and you're in and out. It's really fun, really fast, really easy.
So if you like to drive for dollars and drive neighborhoods, you can just pull
Yep,
it up on the app and you can have a card sent before you even get out of the neighborhood.
pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
sweet.
doubt. All right, so we call that our Landvoice Pro bundle. There's two other products I want to tell you guys about as investors. Again, I want to kind of hand you fish. I want to hand you as many as I can for you to structure and get as many deals in front of you as you can. For the well qualified investor, meaning you've been in the business for a few years, you're doing deals, you're making money. One of the things that I really love, and I've been working on this for quite some time, is I love the pre-foreclosure data, but I was trying to find homeowners that hadn't even entered foreclosure yet, meaning the bank hadn't even started the foreclosure process. We call these homeowners distressed, meaning they're missing payments on their home, maybe one, maybe two, three, four payments before bank has started foreclosure. I call it distressed. And what we do here is you give me a list of zip codes and give them to me in a list of priority. But I will take those zip codes. Usually I need about 8 to 10 zip codes, and I'll go through and I'll find 500 homeowners in your area of homeowners that are missing payments but haven't started foreclosure yet. It's like a pre foreclosure. Now, this is really expensive data. It's not cheap, and that's why I'm saying it's not for the beginner investor. If you're a beginner investor, use the Landvoice Pro bundle. It's the best thing out there. For those of you that are making money and want to kind of take the next level of data and find kind of a whole new level of fish, if you will, I love distressed. And what distressed is, it's basically $2 per property, but it's $1,000. I'm going to take 10 zip codes and I'm going to go down those zip codes until I find you 500 homes. And we're going to provide to you 500 homes of homeowners that are motivated, they're distressed, they're missing payments, and they need help. They're not necessarily selling their home yet, right? They're not necessarily hand up yet, but this is the stuff that you want to kind of start getting in front of and talking to and having conversations with. There's some investors that have very direct conversations. So call them up and say, hey, I know things are tight. I just wanted to reach out to see if there's something I can do. That's not my approach. If I call someone like this, I don't even let them know I know they're under distress. I will use it more like I'm calling around the neighborhood as an investor, right? So I'll call them and I'll say something like, hey, this is Shaun. And I'm talking to quite a few of your neighbors in the area because I'm investing in properties in your area and interested in buying 3 or 4 more homes. And I was just curious, have you ever thought about listing or selling your home at like in the near future? And a lot of them will turn me down and say no. I say, not a problem at all. Do you mind if I follow up with you though in 3 or 4 weeks? Because I'm talking to a lot of the neighbors and I'm just curious if any other homeowners or neighbors in your area come up or come across your mind or things that you can talk about. So that's essentially the script. That's a softer way to kind of let that land. I like the soft approach because typically they're then going to be willing to share more information with me. If they're not, I'm asking for permission to follow up with them in 3 to 4 weeks, right, Derek?
Well,
But the idea is when they're volunteering it, I'm trying to get within rapport, lower the barriers, lower the fence, the wall that's in front of me. And so that's why I like that softer approach, is to kind of develop and build a relationship and get within rapport early in the conversation if possible.
well, and to blow, your minds a little bit, like this is where I love the strategy of using options or even lease options. I mean, I've done deals that you guys know about where you find that person and they may be behind 5, 10, 15, $20,000. They don't necessarily want to sell. Maybe you can go in and give them the money they need for an option to purchase their house someday in the future at a predetermined price. And it's a great way to invest with retirement account money and things of that nature. So the way I've explained in the past is, you'll have a hailstorm go through a city and there's a whole bunch of blue tarps on the roof and people don't even have the money they need to pay their deductible for their insurance.
Right.
All right. Well, okay, we'll put up 5, 10 grand for your deductible and I'll give you fair market value based on today's value sometime in the next 10 years. Right. So that's a great list to do things like that. If they don't want to sell their home now, great, but you can still help them.
No question. Yeah, and that's the beauty of your coaching, is to show everyone out there the best way to structure these deals. We just need to get the right data, the right homeowners in front of you to do that, right? So again, distressed is a little bit more expensive. It's not for your brand new investors unless you got plenty of money, sitting aside and you're ready to go. If you're ready to go and committed, let's get you going with Landvoice Pro, or let's get you going with this distressed product. Some do both. That's totally up to you. And then there's one final thing I just want to kind of mention to your group here, if I can, Derek. A lot of investors, and as soon as you kind of start growing and developing, you should be using a CRM. Now, there's a lot of really good CRMs out there. If you don't want to pay for one, there's some free ones out there. I recommend a free one called Go High Level. Derek, you might have a couple others out there that you recommend. I like it just because it's free. Now, if you need to use it as a dialer or to send text or make calls, that's when you actually start paying for that system. But what's really cool about it, and we're creating an integration with them in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. That'll be done. So if you actually subscribe to Landvoice, we can push that data in there for you, and then you can use a lot of those systems. But what we find with investors that are using CRMs, doesn't matter if it's that one or a whole bunch of other ones out there. A lot of times you're going to have leads come in or homeowners, and you're going to enter their information into that CRM, that contact management solution, right? And what you're going to find is that oftentimes you have a lead or a homeowner without the right contact information. And so at Landvoice, we developed something we call it Data Genie. And what Data Genie does is it takes all your incomplete leads, your homeowners that you don't have all the contact information, and we append that. So if you have a name and an address, we'll get you the phone and the email. If you have a name and a phone, we'll get you the address and the email. And that's the beauty to Data Genie is you can send all of those incomplete leads through our system, and we'll get you the rest of that contact information to make sure you're having those really valuable, really important, really crucial conversations with these homeowners. And we call that Data Genie. It's really inexpensive. It's about $50. That's going to help you append up to 250 homes on incomplete leads that you might have in your system. Just want you to make sure you're aware of these tools and how to automate, systematize, and make your business grow a lot faster than its current pace, right?
Absolutely. And so again, it's thegenerationswealth.com/Landvoice. And as we start to wind down here a little bit, Shaun, I'm not going to let you off the hook. You don't know this, but my regular listeners do. I typically ask one question. It's a real stumper. What is one question I should have asked you that I did not? And it can be about anything.
Man, it's such a good question. I thought you were going to ask something else. I got to tell you guys after I answer this question. Every time we hire somebody at Landvoice, we have a stumper or a question for everybody as well. So I'll have to share that with you after, Derek. What's one question you should have asked? Gosh, I already kind of gave you the tips, the secrets with distressed, and I like the soft approach. I gave you kind of some tips on for sell by owners, right? Here's one more tip with for sell by owners and with expireds. They typically, these property owners are very motivated. In fact, oftentimes it's a bit of a race. About 70% of these homeowners will work with the first person that contacts them. 70% is what we're finding. 84% will eventually relist or get their property sold either through an agent or through an investor. And so that's what we love about for sale by owners and expireds is they're going to relist or they're going to work with an investor. And so don't ignore those percentages. When I say Landvoice is very niche, we've basically taken a high level funnel and gotten it down to something very small on specific homeowners that you should focus on to grow your business. And that's what we're passionate about. And that's what we love. And those are the statistics that should help you motivate you every morning. Like, hey, 70% of these guys are either going to list with an agent or work with me as an investor, but they have to get their home sold. And typically they do that to the first person that contacts them. 84% list eventually in the next, I would say, 2 to 6 weeks, right? So that's where we need to have those conversations. We need to work with them. We'll get you those updates on the statuses. If a property ever goes active or relisted with an agent, we'll show you that in the system as well. Just try and automate the system, help you know what you want to be paying attention to and whatnot. So that's what I would answer for you, Derek, is that's something to be aware of with the data that you're working with.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously our show is primarily real estate investors, but if you're an agent listening to this show, like
Do both.
all of this applies to you as well.
Yeah, either listing or still buying, right, as a buyer. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Shaun, man, I appreciate you coming on the Generations of Wealth podcast and you know, telling everybody, like I said, we've known each other for a while now, and you know, I know the quality of what you're putting out there, and I've bought data from people for years that was nowhere near the quality. So again, I just appreciate you coming on.
Derek, thanks for having me today. Love to help anybody out there. Phenomenal promotion for everybody. So definitely take a look at that link. And if we can help you in any way or answer any questions for you, happy to do so.
Absolutely. So thegenerationsofwealth.com/Landvoice for everybody else, you know, that doesn't do it. Thank you, because those of us that do, well, we have better leads. and, and you know I'm blunt. So, but that being said, again, another awesome show. Appreciate all of you listening. Please do everything you can to share this and get us the reach that we want. We want to help you grow your business and your network. Part of that is helping spread the Generations of Wealth message. So until the next show, go live your vision and love your life. See ya.
Thanks, Derek. Let's go make it happen.